Here we have a pre-calculus problem. Okay, let's go over the question. What is the value of r cosine sine of 5 pi over 4? Okay, to find the value of r cosine of sine 5 pi over 4, first we have to evaluate the value of the sine 5 pi over 4. Okay, so first let me do it. So let me write sine of 5 pi over 4. Okay, to find the value of the sine 5 pi over 4, we can convert this radians to degrees. Already we know that the value of pi over 4, pi over 4 radians equals to 45 degrees. So we have sine of 5 times. So instead of this pi over 4, we can write 45 degrees. So sine of 5 times 45 degrees will be 225 degrees. Okay, now we have to evaluate the value of sine 225 degrees. So for that, first we have to identify the quadrant in which we have 225 degrees. Okay, let me draw the 4 quadrants. Okay, here we have the 4 quadrants. So here we have 0 degree, 90 degree, and here we have 180 degree and 270 degree here. Okay, so we have 225 degree between 180 and 270. So what is the angle? So here we have 225 degree. So because here we have the angle measured 225 degree in the third quadrant, because already we know that this is the first quadrant, second quadrant, and this is third quadrant, and this is fourth quadrant. Okay, so what is the reference angle over here? This is the reference angle. Reference angle is nothing but the difference between 225 and 180. So that is nothing but 45 degree angle measure. Okay, so, and also we must be aware of ASTC concept, that is ASTC. So in the first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. In the second quadrant, sine and its reciprocal cosecant are positive, the rest are negative. In the third quadrant, tangent and cotangent are positive and the rest are negative. The fourth quadrant, cosine and its reciprocal secant are positive, the rest are negative. So in the third quadrant, only tangent and its reciprocal cotangent are positive, so the rest are negative. So sine is also negative because we have 225 degree angle measure in the third quadrant. So the value of sine 225 degree must be negative. So once we take this negative sign, instead of this 225, we can use the reference angle over here. So we get sine 45 degree. So using trigonometric ratio table or unit circle, we can get the value of the sine 45 degree. And before that, we have negative. So the value of sine 45 degree is square root of 2 over 2. Okay, now I got the value of sine 5 pi over 4, that is negative square root of 2 over 2. So actually we have to evaluate the value of r cosine of sine 5 pi over 4. Okay, here r cosine. So we got the value of sine 5 pi over 4, that is negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so here we have to get the angle measure for which the value of cosine is negative square root of 2 over 2. So and also one more thing we have to notice over here, we have r cosine. So whenever we have r cosine, its range is 0 to pi. So range of r cosine, so 0 to pi. So the angle measure we find for this one, so must be in this limit. So it can be any angle measure between 0 and pi. So 0 and pi means pi is nothing but 180 degree. That's it's over here. So 0 and pi means only the two quadrants are covered, the first quadrant and second quadrant. And in the first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. So cosine is also positive. But here, so the value we have for cosine is negative. That is negative square root of 2 over 2. Since the value of cosine is negative, so the angle measure we get over here must be in the second quadrant at somewhere else between 90 and 180. Instead of 90, we can write radians, that is pi over 2. So the angle measure we get over here, we get for this r cosine of negative square root of 2 over 2. So must be between pi over 2 and pi, that is in the second quadrant, because in the second quadrant cosine is negative. And also we cannot go to the third quadrant or fourth quadrant. So because the range of r cosine is 0 comma pi, so the angle measure we get for r cosine always must be from 0 to pi. So it covers the first quadrant and the second quadrant, but in the first quadrant cosine is positive. Since the value over here is negative, I consider the second quadrant. Okay, so to get the angle measure for this r cosine in the second quadrant, so first I have to get the angle measure for the positive value of this one in the first quadrant. That is called reference angle. That is, I have to find the reference angle. So usually the reference angle is an acute angle from 0 to 90 degree. So you'll be able to get the reference angle only for positive values. So we have to assume this value is positive. So when I assume this value is positive, then I'll be getting positive square root of 2 over positive square root of 2 over 2. So for what angle measure in the first quadrant, so the value of cosine is square root of 2 over 2. So that is 45 degree. 45 degree or pi over 4. So this pi over 4 should be taken as reference angle over here. Okay, so now I'm taking this pi over 4 as a reference angle. So what angle should come over here? To get the angle measure over here, I have to subtract this pi over 4 from this pi. So pi minus pi over 4. When I simplify this one, I'm getting 3 pi over 4. So the angle measure, which is equal to this r cosine of negative square root of 2 over 2 is 3 pi over 4. So the correct answer choice for this question is, so the first one, 3 pi over 4.